So, can you hear me?
Shalom.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Mm-hmm. Clear. Let me just take out
Oh,
this headphone.
okay, okay, fine, fine.
Plug out the headphone.
Yeah, so in today's class, we're gonna get into Isaiah chapter 54.
Shalom.
I put part one. So, I put part one, but it's only 17 verses, so lower when we get through it. As you see here, the title says, "The Wrath Reserved, a Message to the Nations." All right,
Mm-hmm.
the wrath reserved and a message to the nations. When you read Psalms 83 and 1, starting with Esau, Edom. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that, then I'll hand it over to you.
Come.
Malak, I know you have something hold up too.
Mm-hmm.
But when you read this precept, Psalms 81 or 83, so Psalms 83, right? Um, verse 1, and it reads, "A song or a psalm of Asaph, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh, Bahashim El Shai, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, Bahashim El Shai. For lo, thine enemies," right, "make
Mm-hmm.
a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head." And this is what we're seeing, starting
That's
with
right.
Esau, Edom, right? On down to the rest of the nations. They're lifted up their head against the Most High and His only begotten Son, as well as the Israelites, starting with the prophets. Let me get this in the King James and see,
Mm-hmm.
or in the NLT, Slacker. NLT, right? It says, verse 2, "Don't you hear the uproar of your enemies? Don't you see that the arrogant enemies are rising up? They devise crafty schemes against your people, and that crafty scheme ultimately is talking about the MOTB, all right, the mark of the beast,
Mm-hmm.
which is the microchip. All right, they want to, first of all, these top wicked elites, all right, the bankers, top bankers, they want to eradicate a vast majority of the world's population.
That's right.
Why? Because it's easier to control less people. All right, and with the people that are left, okay, after the nuclear destruction upon America, they're already going to be chipped.
That's right.
Remember, the chip, the RFID chip, is going to precede the destruction of America. So that will happen first, as everybody will be chipped, but the elect. The elect will be saved from destruction via the chariot of the Most High. Then whoever's left, the plan of these top wicked elites is to rise up out of their caves, deep
Mm-hmm.
underground bunkers, rather cities, and rule what's left of the people who already have chips in them. Okay, so this is that crafty scheme that they have devised ultimately against, starting with the nation of Israel. Really, that's their main threat, right? The nation of Israel, starting with the prophets. So the elect, the hopeful elect, says they devise crafty schemes against your people. They
Mm-hmm.
conspire against your precious ones, right? That's the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000.
Mm-hmm.
Come, they say, let us wipe out Israel as a nation. We will destroy the very memory of its existence. You see? Yes, this was their unanimous decision.
Unanimous. That's
They,
right.
that's right. They all signed off on it. They're all in one agreement to get rid of the Israelites. Okay, every single nation, every leader of every nation. Okay, yes, this was their unanimous decision. They signed a treaty as allies against you. When you look at the United Nations, okay, the United Nations, all right, which is just that, the nations united. What Jake, Jakes don't have a seat in that table, on that table. Matter of fact, let me just really quickly ask chat. Or I could pull it up on here.
Hmm.
I don't have to really, because they're not going to say Israel. Obviously, they're going to say, let's see.
They might. Let's see.
On the seat of the United Nations,
Hmm.
do American Africans or African Americans have a seat on the table? Right, because that's what they call us, African Americans, right? So
Yeah.
let's see. See, look at this. Spot on. That's the spirit. It says in the United Nations, UN, individual ethnic or racial groups such as African Americans or American Africans do not. I'm starting with Judah, but this includes your so-called Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, American Indians, um, so on and so forth. Do not have an official seat at the table. Do not have an official seat at the table. I wonder why, right?
Yeah.
Because these nations, these leaders, they know who these people are. Okay, the leaders of these various nations. It says the UN is an intergovernmental organization, meaning only sovereign states, countries, as members, and are members and have seat. So they basically don't consider us Israelites, all right, as sovereign. This is why we don't have a seat there. Furthermore, as we just read, their plan is to completely eradicate the nation of Israel. So I'll just read the summary. It says,
Take your time, brother.
no African American and American African do not have their
Wow.
own. No African American and American Africans do not have their own seat at the
Wow.
United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
They are technically represented through the United States, you see,
Wow. That's
which
awfully.
means the United States are our captors and we are captive in the United States. Okay? National delegation. Some advocacy is done on their behalf in the UN human rights mechanism, but this is not the same as having a formal seat at the table. You see?
That's right.
So when we go back to Psalms 83
Yes.
and
God.
verse 5, it says, yes, this was their unanimous decision in the NLT. They signed a treaty as allies against you, right? These Edomites
Mm-hmm.
and Ishmaelites, so Edomite, so-called white man, Ishmaelite, so-called Arab or Iraqian, Moabites, so-called Chinese, right? Hagarites, Gibeonites,
Mm-hmm.
Ammonites,
Yeah.
so-called Japanese,
Japanese.
the Amalekites and the Amalekites, right? Tight hatters,
Mm-hmm.
and the people of Philistia, right? These are the actual and Tyre.
Yeah.
These are the true Africans,
Yeah.
not the Jakes that are scattered among these African countries, but the true Hamites, right? Which the Philistines are a major enemy of us Israelites when you go into the history. Assyria has joined them too, and is allied with the descendants of Lot, right? Which is so-called Chinese and Japanese and North Koreans and South Koreans, all that Asiatic area. It says, do to them as you did to the Midianites, and as you did to Sisera and Jabin at the Kishon River. They were destroyed at Endor, and their decaying corpse fertilized the soil. Okay, so the main point here that I wanted to get,
Mm-hmm.
I know it was a little bit lengthy, but was the fact that when we're reading Isaiah, as we get into Isaiah 34, and the title says there's a wrath reserved. The wrath of the Most High is reserved
That's
not
right.
only for 2/3 of our people, okay, but also these nations, these natural heathens, starting with Esau, Edom on down. Okay, the Most High don't love everybody, despite what a wacky tacky bugged out Christian will tell you. The Most High does not love everybody. He doesn't even love all his own people. Right now, he's only dealing with the elect of his own nation.
That's right. That's
Go ahead,
right.
Malak. You got it.
Beautiful. No, that was beautiful because just so many places to go. Right there in that precept that was read in Psalms 83, the word there is tumult, and I had to pull it up because as you were
Right.
going into those precepts and breakdowns, that this is this word right here. So I have it real quick. I'm going to go to the meat of it because there's so much to cover. Tumult. It says, right, because it says they're in a tumult, and it says noise, confused, disorderly, and that's what this is the type of world that we live in. And the top, excuse me, the top villain here, Esau, Edom,
Hello?
he leads out in tumult,
Hello?
right? It says noisy commotion, right, of a multitude, noisy uprising as a mob, as of a mob. So that's how these nations are coming, man. Simply put. That's why we go into
Oh,
words.
you're looking at Etymol?
Yeah, etam, slack. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
etam
In the
online.
blue letter, it says to murmur.
You see?
It's to murmur, growl, roar,
Yeah,
cry
yeah,
aloud, rage.
that's right. Same
You know,
thing. Uproar, disorder, disturbance. That's what Esau, Edom is about in these nations, and that's why I'm going to go to the book of Joel. I want to go to the book of Judith. As a matter of fact, I'm there, so I'm going to one precept from Judith, who's prophesying from the Apocrypha, and I'm going to read from the KJV. Judith 16, verse 17. It says, "Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. Jehovah Hashem Yoshai, the Lord Almighty, will take vengeance of them in the day of judgment, and in putting fire and worms to their flesh. And they shall feel them and weep over them." So,
wait, Judas 16 or 6?
yeah, 16. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
con.
16 verse 17. Right?
Con.
Just wanted to preface with that, and I'm going to go to the book of Joel just to describe the condition of the wicked, right, and their judgment actually. And I'm going to go to the book of Joel 3 real quick. So I'm going to start at
NLT or King James?
King James. Yeah, no, actually NLT. I'm going to read it from the NLT straight up. I'm going to start at verse 1, Joel 3 and 1. I'm going to read chapter 3.
1, con.
Yeah, to 3.
Con. You got it.
Yeah. So it says, right, and the title goes in simple: judgment against the enemy nations. It says, at the time, right, at the time of those events, says the Lord, when I restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem, okay, which simply represent the north and southern kingdom here in essence, but of the elect, starting with the elect, okay,
Yeah.
from Judah and Jerusalem. Let's be clear on that, you folks. Right now, the chapter before this goes into, the second chapter of the book of Joel is going to how the Lord would pour his spirit upon all flesh. But we know there's a distinction with the elect, right? And also the wicked. So the wicked has a wicked spirit, okay? And also 2/3 of our people have a wicked spirit that's on them, that the Lord would have sealed them with, right? That's a chapter before. But I'm just prefacing that to say, simply put, now we're going into the judgment of these nations, right? And 2/3 of our people that's hanging on to that hope in Babylon. Verse 2, Joel 3 and 2 from the NLT today says, "I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat." So we know that's Battle of Armageddon talk. When we see that word Jehoshaphat, you can go into it, right? There I will judge them. See, hey, so what is it saying? Simply put, man, and this is the Lord's war, right? He's the one that's going to bring this Armageddon. He has all the troops in position right now. Okay, if you've been following the news. Okay, if you've been following the news, and you have to be following it for quite some time. And if the Spirit wants to let you see it, then you'll be able to see it. It says, "There I will judge them for harming my people." You see, it comes back to that, right? Again, my special possession for scattering my people among the nations and for dividing up my land. Right. So hey, it wasn't enough that the Lord scattered them to put them there so that he could recover them. But this is what you do to them. Last verse. Joel 3:3. This is part of that part of the crime of slavery that goes into all the wickedness that you do. Joel 3:3. It says they threw dice. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes and sold girls for enough wine to get drunk. Right? And that's parabolic talk to show, simply put, the wickedness in regards to what slavery, in regards to how Edom pushes slavery on our people. And also you nations, right? Because you're following the lead of Esau, Edom, right? Came out in Psalms 83. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm going to read from there for now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Come.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So let's get into this then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's going into slavery, man, and child trafficking. Where these people, they traffic children, women, men, and the top or the highest, the hottest commodity, all right, in trafficking humans is Israel. Okay, best believe that. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashab B'Katah.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashab B'Katah. Shalom.
Let me just read this real quick. I got some insight for Joel 3:3.
Take your time.
This is it says this verse is a searing indictment of the nations that abused and exploited Yahweh's people. It's not just about slavery, it's about the depths of human depravity, where life is traded for lust and drunkenness. A boy is given up just to purchase a prostitute. A girl is sold off for a bottle of wine. That's the level of godless greed, perversion, and devaluation of human life Yahweh is highlighting. It says this is not poetic language. It's a cold, brutal snapshot of real-world suffering inflicted on Israel during times of invasion and exile. It says, cast lots for my people. This refers to dividing up captives like property, just as soldiers would divide loot. It recalls the ancient practice of gambling over slaves, echoing Lamentations 5:11 and Obadiah 1:11. You see? You give a boy for a harlot. Boys were traded like currency for the temporary satisfaction of lust. I don't even got to go into that. You already know what that means. Okay.
To this day.
It says exactly. This isn't just slavery. It's the mockery of insolence and the destruction of dignity. Sold a girl for wine. Girls were treated as mere means to get drunk. Human life was being exchanged, and not just any human, but it was an Israelite. Okay, it was an Israelite life that was being exchanged for fleeting pleasure. It shows the moral bankruptcy of Israel's enemies. Okay. Says final word. Joel 3:3 is a charge sheet from heaven. It's Yahweh laying out the crimes of the nations, the that violated his covenant people, which are also known to be his women. So imagine if a man under captivity, you're sent out in exile, did all these things that the nations did to our people and our children, to your woman. Wouldn't you be vexed? You'd be looking for some serious revenge against this man. That's what Most High feels towards these nations and what they've done with the nation of Israel, and primarily the hopeful elect. That's the apple of his eye, so to speak. Okay. Um, it says violating his covenant people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And judgment is coming. The verse is both a historical reality and a moral lesson. When you treat the Israelite people like objects, Yahweh takes it personally. This is sound. This is the sound of the judgment sharpening his sword. The judge sharpening his sword. Okay, so this is all um, tying into again the topic at hand, which is the wrath reserved and a message to the nations.
That's
Because we're
right.
not just a prophet to the nation of Israel, but we're also prophets to the nations of the world.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So I can bear with me 2 seconds here.
I got a scripture.
Yeah, go ahead and
There
read
you
that.
go.
Just look for something real quick. Okay.
I'll just get it here.
All right, go ahead.
Okay,
We'll get
this
into
is
this.
I get I read it in the NLT.
Hmm.
Salakia. It says this is Amos 2 verse 6. It says, "This is what the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai says: The people of Israel have sinned again and again, and I will not let them go unpunished. They sell honorable people for silver and poor people for a pair of sandals.
Yep.
They trample
Yep.
helpless people in the dust and shove the oppressed out of the way. Both father and son sleep with the same woman, corrupting my holy name."
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
just reflecting, like showing our people that was the nature back then in Israel, what they were doing. They're wicked, every
And
time they
today,
would, yeah, and today, right now. So
you
every
know,
time they
even
would break
worse.
the laws, right, the Lord will punish them, you know?
Well, this is the thing because we were saying earlier, this is a message to the nations, but as you can see, our people were doing it to each other
That's right.
themselves. That's why 2/3 are going to be cut off and die over
That's right.
here in America. The bulk of them. Okay.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Spiritual.
let's get into this.
I was going to just say spiritual incest and literal incest. That wickedness they promote privately. Of course, they have laws against it certain places, but Esau, Edom, man. We know about the that came out. Spiritual incense,
Uh,
spirit, spiritual incest, and literal incest. Go ahead, brother.
yeah. Well, they were literally incensed with each other, but there's definitely a
Mm-hmm.
demon on you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's get into this now. So Isaiah 34:1 NLT, it says, "Come here and listen, O nations of the earth, let the world and everything in it hear my words. For the
Mm-hmm.
Lord Yahweh is enlarged or enraged, Slacken, is enraged against the nations. His fury is against all their armies. He will completely destroy them, dooming them to slaughter. Their dead will be left unburied. The stench of rotten bodies will fill the land. The mountains will flow with their blood. The heavens above will melt away, right? Talking
Mm-hmm.
about the rulership, but also the elements in the air, right? By thermonuclear fire.
That's right.
Okay. It says the heavens above will melt away and disappear like a rolled up scroll. Exactly. Right. That's that mushroom cloud, right? After a missile is shot or an explosion, right, has happened. This starts the stars will fall from the sky, and this is not talking about literal stars, but those that have a high seat right, in this rulership, right, among our people and especially among the nations. You know, your top generals, your presidents, your top CEOs, your top technocrats, and so on and so forth. Those that have a high position in this rulership, it's going to be taken away from them in the day of destruction. Okay, or in the destruction of America. So, like withered leaves from a grapevine, or shriveled figs from a fig tree. All right, and it says, and when my sword has finished its work in the heavens, right? Again, ICBM and hypersonic missiles. It will fall upon Edom. You see? The nation I have marked for destruction. Okay? Edom. Edom is a nation that the Heavenly Father has marked for destruction. Again, not to beat the dead horse, but
Beat
the
it.
Most High does not love everybody.
Bring it out.
Point blank, period, man. Okay, let me get this precept here from Jeremiah 25. And
Edom the dead horse.
The Lord
this is
has
Jeremiah 25 and 31. It says, his cry of judgment will reach to the ends of the earth, for the Lord Yahweh will bring his case against all nations. He will judge all the people of the earth, right, including 2/3 of Israel, slaughtering the wicked with the sword. Who's the wicked? That's Esau, Edom. They are the wicked. That's a nation that was created, all right, to be wicked and play the left hand of the Most High. Isaiah 45:7, he controls both sides, the good and the evil. Okay? I, the Lord Yahweh, have spoken. Okay? This is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven's army says. Look, disaster will fall upon nation after nation. A great whirlwind of fury is rising from the most distant corners of the earth. Yep. And this is what Esau is going to try to basically deceive the world with. Project Bluebeam, a so-called alien invasion, but an actual invasion of the host of heaven, all right, with Yahweh Shai and the chariots are actually coming to this earth, and primarily to destroy America and other various parts of the earth, but mainly America and the land of Israel. But the land of Israel will be built back up. And it says here, verse 33, in that day, those the Lord Yahweh has slaughtered will fill the earth from one end to the other. You see? No one will mourn for them or gather up their bodies to bury them, right? Because when we come back down, the whole full left come back down on earth from the fathership, all right, we're going to basically enslave all the nations as they had us in slavery, starting with Esau, Edom. And guess what? They're going to be in a continual employment for 1,000 years, all right, pursuant to prophecy. And they're going to have to bury up all these dead bodies, dig up all the burials, right, and clean up the earth and build back the land of Israel as well.
That's right.
Right. So it says, no one will mourn for them or gather up their bodies to bury them. They will be scattered on the ground like manure. Exactly. It says, so that means you're going to see bodies over here, half a rib over there, half the whole body over there. Kind of like when you see a body, motorcycle accidents, when people fall off of the motorcycle going 200 miles or 200 kilometers per hour and their whole body just skids across the pavement.
Scattered.
That's how it's going to be, man.
Scattered.
All right. So it says, verse 34, weep and moan, you evil shepherds, roll in the dust, you leaders of the flock. The time of your slaughter has arrived. Exactly. This is going into these top leaders of these various nations. Okay. It says, you will fall and shatter like a fragile vase. When we read here, it says in Isaiah 34, we read verse 4. Yeah, it says, the heavens above will melt away and disappear like a rolled up scroll, and the stars the stars will fall from the sky. This is the precept says the stars will fall from the sky like withered leaves and from a grapevine, or shriveled figs from a fig tree.
Mhm.
Right? This is a precept. It says, verse 34, Jeremiah 25 and 34, weep and moan, you evil shepherds, right? The leaders of these nations. Roll into the dust, you leaders of the flock. The time of your slaughter has arrived. You will fall and shatter like fragile vases. You will find no place to hide. There will be nowhere to escape. Okay? Look at this. It says, listen to the frantic cries of the shepherds. And this is also twofold, right? Obviously, this is talking about Israel, but I'm liking this to the heathens as well, as they also have leaders among them. And obviously, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they have their leaders. And they're
That's
all
right.
going to be in the same condition when the Lord comes and brings his destruction. Okay?
That's right. Starting with that marked nation, Edom.
Yeah, that's right. Listen to the frantic cries of the shepherds. The leaders of the flock are wailing in despair,
Mhm.
for the Lord Yahweh is ruining their pastures. Yep. Everything they got, their people, their empire, all of it.
Yeah.
Poetry.
It says, peaceful meadows will be turned into wastelands by the Lord Yahweh's fierce anger. He has left his den like a strong lion seeking its prey. And their land will be made desolate by the sword of the enemy, and the enemy to the nations is Yahushai and the hosts of heaven. Okay, and the Lord's Yahweh's fierce anger.
Yeah.
That's right.
That means he's not coming back with no daisies, no roses, no hellos and greeting, meet, and all this
That's right.
shit that's full up in your head, you know?
Just
Coming back
execution.
for
That's right.
execution, man. For
That's
total judgment on the earth, man. Nothing good.
Yeah.
Nothing
That's
good
right.
at all, man.
Nothing good.
Get one more here.
Beautiful.
So many precepts you can get
How many precepts do
concerning the
you
destruction. You know,
Revelation.
Wanna-
we got Revelation. Let's go Revelation 6,
Yeah.
12.
13 and 14. You can go. I don't know where you want to start.
Start from 12, read to 14.
All right.
So it says here, Revelation, this is NLT too. I haven't read this in NLT, so see how this goes. Revelation 6 and 12, NLT. I watched as the Lamb, right, Yahushua, broke the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake.
That's
The
right.
sun became as dark as black cloth, right? That's a solar eclipse, which is a major sign. And the moon became as red as the blood. Yeah, blood moon. So we've seen a couple of those. Those are signs of the heaven,
Mhm.
right? Indicating that there's not a lot of time left before the Lord begins to visit this place. Okay.
That's right. Deliverance would be right between the 6th and 7th seal. So we're reading
Right.
what's going to happen, but when it breaks off, when the destruction breaks off, the elect will not be here. So the book of Thessalonians tells us in the moment of the twinkling of an eye, right? And then in this same book, going into the, I think it's the 17th chapter, it shows us standing on the sea of glass, watching this destruction, the bigness of the destruction. I'm talking about the nukes going off. Okay, that's going to bring the major catastrophe. Okay, so it's solemn. Can you read it again, brother?
Yeah. So it says, verse 12, I've watched the Lamb. I watched as the Lamb, Yahushai, broke as a lamb. So like I watched as the Lamb, Yahushai, broke the sixth seal. And there was a great earthquake. The sun became as dark as black cloth, and the moon became as red as blood.
That's right. So that great earthquake, real quick, goes into the nukes. That's what I wanted to say. So simply put, right? The elect will not be here. They'll be beamed up. We'll be beamed up out of this place. Call it all Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
That's right. It says, then the stars of the sky will fall to the earth like green figs falling from a tree, shaken by a strong wind, right? So again, going to these top rulers of the earth, right? Okay, you have the creme de la creme. They're going to be saved. A lot of them are going to be saved in these underground cities, the underground bunkers, deep underground cities, because they're going to be saved for slavery,
That's
right?
right.
But then a lot of them as well, tell you that there's tons of them. A
Mhm.
lot of them as well are going to be destroyed in
Mhm.
the destruction, get caught up in the destruction that's going to befall America.
That's right.
Okay, that's that strong wind.
Yep.
Okay, the missiles. It
Mhm.
says the sky was rolled up like a scroll, and all of the mountains and islands were moved from their place. Yeah, man.
That mushroom. That's that mushroom cloud.
Yeah,
That mushroom cloud. What goes like this, and that's that roll up as a scroll.
yeah,
Mhm.
So
yeah.
we're living
Mhm.
in that
That's right.
time, man.
Hey, well, 15 it tells you, it says, then everyone, the kings of the earth, right, the rulers, the generals, the wealthy and powerful, and every slave and free person all hid themselves in the caves, right? Underground
Mhm.
bunkers or
They're
deep
hiding.
underground cities. And, you know, and it says, and among the rocks of the mountains. So, a lot of these, like Mark Zuckerberg, he
Mhm.
has an underground bunker, a deep underground bunker in his, on his land, right? On his plot of land. So, you see Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all these technocrats and these wealthy and powerful people in America, they're going to run to the underground bunker and they're going to get destroyed because everything on the land and the soil of America will be eradicated, completely eradicated. Doesn't matter how deep you dig your bunker under the soils of America, you will be eradicated. How do we know this? Well, it's prophecy, first and foremost. That's what the Lord said. But
That's
as
right.
well as when you look at these top wicked elites, the top, like these guys that we see here, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, these guys are just puppets. Believe it or not, with all the wealth they've accumulated and been given and the power they've been given, they're just puppets, right? The top wicked elite, they're not even on the surface. You don't see them and you don't hear about them. They are deep underground cities. That's where they're living, having children, multiplying, right? The Lord's putting
Mhm.
that spirit on them for slavery, whether they know it or not. And they don't know it, but they know it at the same time. That's just the pride of their heart. These guys, their underground cities and bunkers, deep underground cities and bunkers, are not even on the soils of America. They're out in various parts of Europe,
Mhm.
okay? Showing you that they know as they've planned, right? They have that in their own blueprints. When you go back to Albert Pike and that other guy, the other Freemason, who was a Nuzini, Jeff Nuzini, but they came up with the plan for the Third World War, right? But the Most High put that spirit on them to come up with that plan because that's the Most High's plan, really.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
they know the destruction is coming, but their bunker, deep underground cities and bunkers are not on the soils of America. It's
Mhm.
way out in Europe. So they're not going to get touched. But these other puppets that they have working for them, they're building their bunkers on the soils of America. So they're going to be destroyed. All right. So it says, and they cried to the mountains and the rocks, fall on
Mhm.
us
Mhm.
and hide us from the face of the one who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So Yahweh and Yahweh Shai.
Mhm.
For the great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to survive? Exactly.
Mhm. Who's the fire in the hole? Yeah.
Who can stand? Who can stand before the Lord in His
Mhm.
judgment, the judgment day, right?
Yeah,
And while it's being judged, who can stand before the Lord? Then,
yeah. So going back here to Isaiah 34 and 5, it says NLT, and when my sword has finished its work in the heavens, it will fall on upon Idumeum,
Mhm.
Edom, and it says the nation I have marked for destruction.
Mhm.
Wow,
The
that's
sword of the Lord Yahweh is drenched with blood. And that's these missiles. This is all parabolic talk for those nuclear hypersonic missiles, man. And covered with fat with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of rams prepared for sacrifice. Yes, the Lord Yahweh will offer a sacrifice in the city of Bozrah. This is prophetic, all right? The prophetic city of Bozrah is America.
Yeah.
Okay, when you go into Bozrah, Bozrah was a chief city in the land of Edom.
Concourse, yeah.
So the chief
Yeah.
city of the Edomites today, the top wicked elites, is America.
Yeah.
Okay, America's been their cash cow the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
They've used it to wage wars. It says here, Bozrah, got an etymology, Bozrah, sheepfold or forest. It says a town in Edom, also a town in Moab, because those these cities, Edom and Moab, are on the border of each other.
That's
And,
right.
Okay,
and,
but this is
sorry to
the
say,
point here. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
and you see how they had to mention Moab, even though it's a part of
Mm-hmm.
the land. Moab plays a
Mm-hmm.
big role in the downfall of us as well, man. Like
Yes.
in
Yep, there you go.
the power seat as well, man. The power structure of Edom is like their backbone,
Yes.
you know. So wherever Edom is, Moab is there too.
God.
Just
Beautiful.
tagging along, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
He's at Sodom. Yep. That's right. Moab is at Sodom. And
Yeah.
Ammon like Gomorrah. 100%
That's
brother.
right.
Right. Beautiful.
That's the city, eh?
Okay. I was just looking for something. But just to oops. Just to qualify what I said there, let's just look up a biblical map.
I have one here too. Back in my book.
Edom and Moab.
I have.
And oh,
See? Which map is this?
right. So here, this is a good one. Just to qualify what I said, as scriptures say, prove all things.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why it says in Moab and in Edom, right? As we look to the definition, yeah, it says a town in Edom and a town of Moab. When you look, there's Edom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teman, Bozrah, and look, there's Moab.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is the Jordan, right? You got Upper Israel, Judah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it says it's in both lands, because they're border states towards each other, if you will. So anyhow, yeah. So going back to the fact that this is a chief city, and it's prophetically talking about America, right? So let's go back here. I'll read that verse again, verse 6. The sword of the Lord Yahweh is drenched with blood and covered with fat, the blood of the lambs and goats, and with the fat of rams prepared for a sacrifice. Yes, the Lord Yahweh will offer a sacrifice in the city of Bozrah. He will make a mighty slaughter in Edom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Even men as strong as a wild oxen will die. The young men alongside the veterans, and the land will be soaked with blood, and the soil entrenched with fat. Right, because basically America is an altar. All right, the whole land of America is an altar, and everybody, including I'll say it like this: everybody outside of the elect, all right, they're likened prophetically or parabolically to lambs, goats, and other animals that are prepared for a sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? A sin sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the elect of the nation of Israel that's in the land of America, pursuant to Romans 12:1, they're a living sacrifice, a peace offering, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
right? A sacrifice unto righteousness.
That's right.
One's going to get accepted, and the other one's going to get burnt up, and both are going to be accepted in their own right. But I'm just making a distinction between the two.
Okay.
Matter of fact, let me get this precept here in Zephaniah. Let's go to Zephaniah 1, and I'll read from 7 to 8. And also, I'll get this in NLT. This is Zephaniah 1 and 7. It says, "Stand in silence in the presence of the sovereign Lord Yahweh, for the awesome day of the Lord's judgment is near. The Lord Yahweh has prepared his people for a great slaughter," right? 2/3 of Israel is going to get caught up in that sin sacrifice, all right, in the land of America, the majority of them, the bulk of the 2/3, and has chosen his executioners. On that day of judgment, Yahweh, says the Lord Yahweh, "I will punish the leaders and the princes of Judah and all those who followed pagan customs." Yeah. Okay. Yes, I will punish those who participate in pagan worship ceremonies and those who fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit. So all these other false Israelite camps, all right, they are Israelite camps, but they're false, meaning that they don't have 100% truth. Okay. Let's see what else is there.
24.
Oh yeah, let's go to Jeremiah. I got a list of precepts, so I don't want to get every single one of them. Just want to get, you know.
It is a lot of them.
Let's go to Jeremiah 46 and 10. Jeremiah 46 and 10. NLT, it says, "For this is the day of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies, a day of vengeance on his enemies. The sword will devour until it is satisfied. Yes, until it is drunk with the blood, with your blood. The Lord Yahweh, Hashem Yoshai, the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies, will receive a sacrifice today." You see? "In the north country, besides the Euphrates River," right? And historically, I was talking about, if I'm not mistaken, what's it called again? Let me double check again. I remember looking this up before. And Banyam and Baba Kashak, can you read this in the King James?
Jeremiah 46
and 10.
Yeah. Okay, I got that. It says Jeremiah 46 verse 10 in the King James, it says, "For this is the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai, the power of hosts, a day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries. And the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiated and made drunk with their blood. For the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai of hosts has sacrificed in the north country by the river Euphrates."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the Khan. Yeah, it was Babylon. Right? Because I have it here.
Country.
As I look. Yeah, the north country. I have it here. This is says this off chat, says the battlefield becomes an altar. You see? The battlefield in America is gonna be battlefield, man. Right?
Right.
So it says the battlefield becomes an altar. Egypt's armies is the offering, you see? And this was historical as also prophetic. So prophetic Egypt is America.
That's right. Modern
So
day.
Egypt's army is the offering. The slain are the sacrifice, and Yahweh is the priest and judge. The location by the Euphrates connects this to the battle of Carchemish, 605 BC, where Nebuchadnezzar crushed Pharaoh Necho, marking Egypt's fall from power, right? That's the historical context. So the prophetic context of it would be America being destroyed and being a land of altar, the battlefield that will be an altar, as
Yeah,
America is prophetically Babylon the Great and Egypt coming back,
that's right.
the modern day Babylon and modern day Egypt.
Because we apply it to today because we're living in
Yep.
today's time, man. We're here now. So what would be the modern Egypt right now? What happened back then in Egypt is happening now. Like it's even worse. I mean, I should say. You know,
Mhm.
it's all the kingdoms in one, all the empire dynasties all in one. You know.
Yeah,
So
this is the worst kingdom
yeah,
that
that's the
has
worst out of
ever,
all of them. That's right.
yeah, has ever been on the planet.
And who would that refer as Pharaoh, if you want to put in that sense, is America, who's
Yeah,
oppressing the whole nations of the world, as
Yes.
how Pharaoh oppressed the Israelites back in 2,000 years ago,
Yeah. The whore that sitteth
or even
upon the.
longer. I mean, I should say.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's right.
so like I'm just looking for something real quick here in Job 2:11, I think it is. Let me just look this up real quick. Oh, Job 12:2. Now there's a precept that this precept I'm looking for in Job where it talks about how knowledge is twofold. Just to back up the fact that we're, why we're applying it to prophetically to America. But I mean, those of you that are in the truth and know,
Right.
So let's see if I can find it low with If I can't find it in low, I'll get it later. I'll put it in the comment section.
So if you're right, 2:11. What's it?
It's 2:12. It says,
Where is it?
it's okay. I don't really need to get it, but because if you know, you know, man. It's simple, and we don't care if you don't believe. This knowledge, this precious knowledge, really only for the elect, anyways. So
That's right. Your incredulity, we're not worried about.
well, there's another precept in the Sirach where it says, the Lord has made two and two of everything, right?
Oh, there's a balance.
A lot of the time, yeah, exactly. A lot of times when you read the scriptures, they can be applied two ways, three ways sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's right.
twofold.
It's eternal.
Anyways, let's continue on and finish up this chapter. So,
I think it's verse 8. Mhm.
yeah, verse 8. So it says here, verse 8, Isaiah 34:8, for it is the day of the Lord's revenge, the
Mhm.
year when Edom will be paid back for all it did to Israel.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The streams of Edom will be filled with burning pitch, and the ground will be covered with fire. This judgment on Edom will never end. The smoke of its burning will rise forever, which just means a long time.
Mhm.
America will burn for a long time. Why? Because all the chemicals and waste, all right, that it has in the land are going to be components to keep the fire going until they're completely burnt up themselves.
Hellfire.
So that just goes to show you that we're going to be the whole collective are going to be in them chairs for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
It could be months, heck, it could be years. All right, in according to time on Earth, because
Mhm.
time in the chariots could be different.
That's
Yeah,
right.
them chariots
It's
in it
true.
of themselves are a different realm. In it of
Mhm.
themselves are a different realm. They can go in and out of the fourth dimension, which is the spiritual realm, and the third dimension, which is our realm, right? So then you have to have 144,000 men crowned. Then you have Yahushua's body. We're going to see Yahushua's body, remember, when it was beaten, and the body that was slain. There's that prophecy. Plus, sitting at the table and him drinking wine with us, filling in the blanks of all history. That's going to take some time, okay? And we're not going to rush the process because we're at the end, right? That's victory. So yeah, it'll be for a while. And as well as Revelation 6 tells you that after destruction, people are going to continue in their wickedness. So a lot of time is probably going to most likely elapse on earth as the hopeful elector in them chariots, chilling with Yahweh Shai. Okay. So, anyways, it says verse 10, the judgment of Edom will never end. Yeah, because even after the destruction of America, then they're going to go into slavery for 1,000 years, a
Yeah.
long 1,000 years. Okay. And then
Hard
even
work.
after that, Khan. And then even after that, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to be
That's right.
completely wiped off from the face of the planet. No more translucent criminals running around. Okay.
Mhm.
It says the smoke of its burning will rise forever. The land will lie deserted from generation to generation. Yep. No one will live there anymore. That's America. Right now, people are in the land of Edom, but it's not called Edom anymore. So it's not. This is how you know this is prophetic. The land of Edom is talking about America. America will never be inhabited anymore by human beings. You'll have all kind of weird and doleful creatures and spirits inhabiting that place. Okay, as a foreshadowing, right, of what it once was. Anyways, verse 11, it will be haunted. Exactly. See, that's the spirit. It will be haunted by the desert owl and the screech owl, the great
Mhm.
owl and the raven. For Yahweh will measure that land carefully. He will measure it for chaos and destruction.
Wow.
It will be called the land of nothing, and
Mhm.
all its nobles will soon be gone.
Mhm.
Thorns will overturn its place. Yeah, keys. You have to imagine what America is going to be like, as it will be a desert after the fire dies down and the smoke's
Mhm.
cleared out. All kinds of animals are going to be inhabiting that whole land, and everything will just grow, right? Thorns, bushes,
Yeah.
right? It's a complete wasteland. Thorns will overturn its palaces. Nettles and thistles will grow in its forts. The ruins will become a haunt for jackals and a home for owls. Desert animals will mingle with hyenas, their owls filling the night. Wild goats will bleat at one another among the ruins, and night creatures will come there to rest.
See that? That
Right.
means there'll be like nothing in that day, man. There's not gonna be nothing to remember with that. It's a fucking dry desert wasteland. Can't say how the Edomite them the control the place, the Babylon. Wasteland.
hmm
No?
hmm
So that's what we're gonna remember and look at that as a monument, as a remembering ground of waste. These people that came and put us in friggin' subjection, man.
Mhm.
As well as this is what happens when you rebel against the Most High.
That's
You
right.
know, it's going to be a
As a
monument.
reminder. Khan.
Yeah,
That's right.
and all the prophets saw this. That's the thing. You see the same theme throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament, but among the prophets in the Old Testament, like because Jeremiah, even in Jeremiah 50 and 39, we'll get that as well. Jeremiah 50 and 39, straight to the point. It says, soon, in this NLT, soon Babylon, right, will be inhabited by desert animals and hyenas. It will be a home for owls. Never again will people live there. It will
Wow.
lie desolate forever. You see?
Mm.
Ooh, it's
That's
beautiful.
right.
So various prophets to confirm that the Lord is going to do what he said he's going to do to America, which is
Read
spiritually
40.
Babylon the Great and
Read.
Egypt.
No, go back, Akim. Read up. Read even 40.
Okay, so it
Mhm.
says, I will destroy it as I destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighboring towns, says the Lord Yahweh. No one will live there and no one will inhabit it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Mm,
So that's the point. Like right now in Jerusalem, that
mm,
the city is still there. Not I shouldn't even say that, but the neighboring cities, not like Bethlehem, but that those 5 cities from in Jerusalem was turned to salt, was turned to
was
yeah,
destroyed.
salt
Yeah,
was
and
Yeah,
destroyed.
well, but they weren't among Jerusalem though.
No,
Sodom and
not the
Gomorrah.
city. Yeah,
Yeah,
not the city, but
yeah,
remember, five
yeah. They were
Hamite
destroyed. Yeah,
cities, right? But
okay.
it's
yeah.
still in that town
The
was
major one.
destroyed, where you can look
Yeah,
back at it and be like, you know, that was the city,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
as a memorial, as a memory. Because we right now, 2,000 years later, we still
Mm,
have that account. We still visualize what happened back then, you know, as a remembering,
the
as a
memorial. Mhm.
as something to not to do, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, a sign of the Most High's judgment, simply put.
yes, Khan, you know.
Yeah,
So that's
Uh,
all. We're gonna be looking at this land.
yeah, America.
That's
that's
right.
right. I had to pull it up, right? I'm going to nothing, right? The word, I'm going to just go to the meat of it. And we have scripture that says the nations are nothing and are counted as less than nothing. Brother just broke it down in your discourse, what you said, and scriptures were read. So it says here, nothing to write up, nothing, right? Going into the meat of it, etam online, it says nothing to write home about, indicating an unremarkable circumstance or thing is from 1917 among World War I soldiers, right? So the point there is this whole thing, when we go back, as brother says, and look at it, we will see the unremarkable circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With the significance is like, it's nothing, but that's the memorial of it.
Yep.
Destruction.
Right.
That's what I'm getting because of World War One. That's what the soldiers them exclaim, right? But yes, the scriptures cannot be broken, and it's fulfilled to the T. That's the point. On nothing, right?
Con.
Unremarkable circumstances, man. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I just want to say
Con.
that.
So we'll finish this up. Isaiah
Yeah.
34 and 15. There the
Mhm.
owl will make her nest and lay her
Yes.
eggs. She
Wow.
will hatch her young and cover them with her wings. And the buzzard will come,
Hmm.
each one with his mate. I wonder what all these animals are going to look like, man.
Mhm.
Be
Wow.
an interesting sight. Search the book of the Lord Yahweh and see what he will do. See, that's what we're doing. That's exactly what we just did throughout this lesson. We
That's
got
right.
various precepts and scriptures showing you what he's going to do to this land, okay, which is America. Search the book of the Lord Yahweh and see what he will do. Not one of these birds and animals will be missing. Not one, not one will lack its mate. Yeah, well, NLT. NLT. Let me get King James here. It's
Hmm.
talking about the Bible. None shall have her mate.
That's right. It's a parable
I already
there.
know that in the spirit. Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't even have to, I just know that's what it's talking about in the spirit.
exactly.
But yeah, see, look, I'll read 15 again. So there shall be great owl, there shall the great owl make her nest and lay and hatch and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord Yahweh and read. None one of these shall fail.
That's
Or
right.
these what? These prophecies.
Mhm.
This whole chapter is a prophecy. So none of the prophecies that we read throughout the whole Bible, as the Bible's full of prophecies in Psalms and in the Proverbs, and everything else, every other book, not one of them will fail, right?
Right.
No one not says none shall want her mate, which means everybody or the whole full elect that get the 100% understanding of the Bible are not going to compare it or mix and mingle the word of the Lord with anything else.
That's right.
Okay, they're not going to want their mate,
That's
and
right.
vice versa. You're not going to be able to compare anything else to the Bible because the Bible is full of the Bible's living. All right,
Yeah.
it speaks of events that are happening in our timeline, and that have happened and that will happen. So it's a living book. It says, For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them, and he has cast the lot for them, and
See
his
that?
hand has divided it into them by line.
See?
They shall possess it forever. That you know who that's talking about? The elect, right? And that through that chosen seed, right? It says, and he has cast the lot for them, the lot of being of the whole full elect, and his hand has divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein. And this is also the promise that the Lord has given to the animals. You know, the Most High promised a feast. I think that's in Revelation, where the Most High promised a
Mhm.
feast to the
Yeah,
animals,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. 18,
Owls
maybe
feel their
19,
flesh.
Yeah. Or 21, I think, or 21, something
21,
like
right,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for my last precept, let me get this. It's Bubba Kashai, if one of you brothers could find that, just to qualify what I'm saying.
Okay. Let's see if I can find it.
Can I
Um,
can I bring out something real quick?
real
Just
quick,
to
let me
go
just
in.
get this. Isaiah 55 and 11,
Fill
NLT, it says, It is the same with my word.
the feast.
I sent it out, and it always produces fruit.
Mhm.
NLT, I will accomplish all I want it to do, and I will prosper everywhere I send it. You see?
That's right.
So this will happen. Go ahead, Ak.
This is Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. It says, This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Which, the reason why I brought that out,
Mhm.
because the book shouldn't depart out of the prophet's mouth, man. Out of all of our mouths.
That's right.
All of all of all of the 1/3 and the elect men of Israel. This word should not depart from us and our generation that we were supposed to teach our younger generation growing up. Which why we got this because it was once in us. We're of the line of the Most High, the
Yeah.
same line. So we all once knew this before. Because
Hmm.
we're supposed to learn it from our generation, from generation, growing up. But through that generation, they became wicked. We lost our way, our knowledge,
Yep.
our
Con,
roots.
con. Yep, con. And now we have
You
it
know.
back.
Now we got it back. That's right.
Got it on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Con. Let me get this here. There's Isaiah 11 and 6.
Mhm.
In that day, the wolf and the lamb will live there. The leopard, Isaiah 11 and 6 in the NLT. And the leopard will lie down with the baby goat, the calf, and their yearling will be safe with the lion, and the little led to them all. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. It has to be in Revelation.
Okay, I have it. Is that what you want? Revelation 19?
Con, go ahead and
Bring
read
it
it.
on.
I think that's one. Yep. It says, this is Revelation 19, 17 and 18. 17 and 18. You can go there.
Con. So Revelation 19 and 17, it says, Then I saw an angel standing in the sun shouting to the vulture. Yeah, the water. The water. Then I saw an angel standing in the sun shouting to the vultures, Fly high in the sky, come, gather together for the great banquet Yahweh has prepared. Right, this is NLT. Come and eat the flesh of kings, generals, strong warriors, of horses and their riders, and of all nations. It says humanity, but nations, both free and slaves, small and great. These are all that took part of the trip. Okay. MOTV. Then I saw the beasts and the kings of the world and their armies gather together to fight against the one sitting on the horse and his army. Yeah, that's Yahweh Shai and the host of heaven. But the point there is 17 and 18.
Okay.
So just to qualify the fact that I said that. The water. Beautiful. Done. So yeah, that's Isaiah 34. I put part 1, but we got through the whole thing. Only 17 verses, so the water Yahweh Shem outside.
Wow. So refreshing. Nothing. Wow.
Brothers, got any lasting precepts or statements you want to bring up?
Nothing. That's inside revelation. Nothing. Right.
So
that's for America. Nothing. And you nations. That's it.
So, Lord willing, this lesson was straightforward and edifying to the whole full elect of the nation of Israel. All right. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught his word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with 144,000 and the innumerable multitude that sincerely believe on the names of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai, men, women, and children alike. Ababa Ball and Kwam Australia to the whole full elect. Shalom.
Kwam Australia to the whole full elect. Shalom.